Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Bobble Pod. In this episode, I talk about, is digital marketing the right channel for you? But before we begin, as always, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, as always, hello YouTube. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button and bell notification so you can get up-to-date news on when our episodes come out every Tuesday. So we always, at the end of a podcast, say, type in your questions, email us, LinkedIn to us. And we can only share his first name, but we've got a question from Mike. And Mike's question was, what do you do when you're following all the guidelines, testing ad copy, audiences, and spending good money in digital marketing, but still not getting a return? Is digital marketing the right channel for all companies, or is it limited by sector? That is a great question, Mac. I wish I could share, who you are and give you a bit of a plug on the podcast. I love questions like this. It's a really, really difficult question, which is why I decided to turn it into a short episode of Bobble Pod. Is digital marketing the right channel for you? It is a very, very difficult question to answer. We expect, as a digital marketing expert, owner of a digital marketing agency, I want to say, digital marketing is the right channel, but not always is. I've got some examples here that I'm going to go through just from a client perspective, so you can, get a real understanding of what's good. So we have a couple of clients and some ex-clients. So an existing client is Springwell, which is in Leeds. They do lettings for students and private landlords. We've been running campaigns across Google and social media, but the best results have become from Google, and we've not really seen anything from social media, not even a conversion within the first 6 weeks. We tried everything from audience targeting to, A/B copy testing. And in the end, Mike, if you're listening to this episode, what we decided was our advice to the client is we need to stop spending on Meta. It's not working. We've tried everything. It seems to drive good traffic. Maybe just run a low level of maybe like £2-3 a day for a bit of brand awareness, a bit of retargeting maybe, and focus on Google, which is where people are searching specific inquiries locally, and we're getting better results from and more lead forms from. It is our responsibility as a digital marketing agency to give the best advice to our clients, not to waste budgets, to make sure that they're getting the best out of offline or online in terms of digital marketing. Another example I'll give is another local client, Premier Dixon's Lane, where they came to us to get more online sales. We introduced Meta ads and Google localized as shopping to get more online sales. And after, again, a month, 5 to 6 weeks, we realized that Google wasn't doing much. We've kept Google running at a low budget just for a brand campaign, a bit of retargeting, awareness just to support the social media campaign. But I think in the first month on social media, we had like 15 sales, and that was at the end of May. In August, we did over 400. So, the growth was like from 15 to, just under 100 to 250, I think, in July, and then over 400 in August. So the growth in that channel is working, and we've invested all the money into that channel, A/B testing ad copy, because it's working. So they're two examples for you in terms of, where one channel within digital marketing is not working to the channel. But what if it's not working overall? So for this one, I have a good example with ex-client of ours, which we call Partner Plus Media. Now, Partner Plus Media, they do brochures, detailed luxury brochures for companies, specifically automotive, hospitality, hospitals, or private surgery. So if you go into, let's say, a private medical surgery locally and you see a really nice leaflet or booklet, if you go into a car dealership and you see their booklet, it's high quality, high grade images, but you'll also see that it's not necessarily always as independent garages done by the company. It's done by brands like Partner Plus Media, who, operated in the UK, Europe, and US. Now, their main model was always salespeople, people going out, physically going to these locations, showing them the physical booklet and doing that. And that's always worked for them and continued to work for them, but they wanted to dabble into digital marketing to support that. We did a lot in terms of strategy. We did a lot in terms of A/B testing, insights, data, and Just turned out that the lead quality just wasn't as great because there was two factors of that. There was targeting and trying to onboard, automotive companies, local dealers, hospitals or, hotels, etc. But there was the other side, which was getting advertisers to advertise in the booklet because they offered that booklet for free. And the reason it was free and printed for free and delivered for free was because Partner Plus Media made their money by selling advertising space. So if you were a car manufacturer, they'd go to car insurance companies if it was specific high-end cars. So you could charge a premium for that. And it worked because they were able to then put codes into the booklets and track it. Our job was to facilitate leads, acquisitions. It worked to some degree, but when unbalanced for money in, because money out, we gave a solution saying, look, this is the most you're going to get, because it's really hard when you're trying to tell people to advertise in a leaflet, a booklet, those kind of keyword terms, and SEO wise, just to get the ranking for that is very, very difficult. You're then a media supplier. Same with trying to attract automotive dealers. Who is the right person? The niche person going in and talking to that is difficult. Normally, if it's a chain, they have a centralized person, a centralized company system. So we really struggled with that one. And in the end, we decided actually, digital marketing in terms of, hyper digital marketing targeting for lead generation isn't the right channel. Actually, digital marketing would only work as part of a brand building exercise, really. And we noticed that when, there were the competitors in the market when we did the competitor analysis out there. So sometimes it isn't. It depends on the industry and the sector, whether it's right for them. And in that case, digital marketing wasn't right for them because they weren't seeing the ROI from it. And digital marketing, and we say this as part of our pitch process, is we're here to deliver return on investment. Ad position and impressions and clicks are all great, but it comes down to real world results. Money in, money out. Return on ad spend, so that's the return on spend that you get from putting money into platforms like LinkedIn, Google, and Meta, but also return on investment, because on top of that, we charge a fee for our services. So you have to incorporate that into your return on investment. And there's guidelines we try to hit in terms of percentages as ROAS. So if we're not hitting them or we're struggling to hit them, it's our job to tell the client where they are and what they can do apart from that, because other people might comment saying, well, that's not true. Companies are limited by budget. Not every company has, £100,000 worth of budgets. They have limited budgets that they want to try and get the most out of digital marketing from. And when you're limited by budget and limited by media spend, then it becomes a lot more difficult to get those results initially, especially when you're in a niche market. And I always find that when you're in a niche market, then digital marketing might not potentially be the right channel for you because it's just a lot more specific to what you're doing. More brand building, SEO type of services work best. So what can you do then if digital marketing isn't working? Now I've given a few examples, of our existing clients and ex-clients of how it's not worked. What can you do if it isn't working? Sometimes it's as simple as going back to the drawing board, looking at a full marketing strategy that incorporates the offline and the online. So in the case of, let's say you've tried digital marketing, but a lot of your results and elements are coming from offline, then you need to deep dive in terms of which elements of offline is working. Is it print? Is it out of home? Is it TV? Is it leaflet distribution? Direct mail? Doesn't matter. You've got to really deep dive into what you're spending in your offline and what's not working. Then you can look at tactics to how you can get digital marketing to support what's already working. Almost like give it a supercharge, a boost, really. That's where you can incorporate, people to go to, if it's on a leaflet, a specific landing page, and retarget people from that landing page, through specific ads, or capture data to do retargeting or lookalike targeting tactics, as we've already discussed in previous podcasts. Sometimes it is going back to the drawing board and starting with a marketing strategy again. Then trial. If digital marketing is not working and you're not doing any offline, trial more traditional media methods. Have a look at your audience, because when we do our global web, we use Global Web Index. When we do that audience analysis, it doesn't just tell us what works in terms of digital. It tells us what works as a whole marketing element. We focus on the digital in terms of the data because that's the area we as a agency focus on, but there'll be other platforms and other services like websites, specific publications, news publications, magazines, If you really want to target high net worth people, as we have done with specific brands in the past, other agencies, we've done it at, targeting people in airport lounges, in the business class lounge, in that magazine, or on the flight, in the business class, to the messages they receive, which is different to everyone else. So you can be very hyper targeted with offline elements depending on what you're going for. And that's just a bit of an example. So you've got to look at more traditional media methods, and traditional media methods aren't dead. They're in a decline in some areas like print, but you can now buy TV very cheaply using Sky AdSmart and on impressions and target by postcode and region. So, for example, Callum, you could be at home watching a game on Sky Sports. I could be watching the same game on Sky Sports. And during the half-time break, when the ads are on, you could be seeing one ad and I could be seeing a completely different ad, although we're watching the exact same program. Now, that's something you can do because you might be the right audience for that person. Now, that's less measurable in terms of results. I get it. The benefit of digital marketing is you can measure everything. You can get the results back. You can see money in, money out. It's very hard not to measure it. Even with lead generation, you can see how many leads you're generating and internally look at the data to see how many of those leads generated, delivered, or converted into actual paying clients. So there's that element to consider as well. Try traditional, more traditional media. Another thing you can do is probably one of the more important elements is do brand marketing. I mentioned this in terms of like when a certain channel didn't work or digital marketing didn't work, we encourage that those channels just be used as brand marketing channels. Because it could be that, and Mike, on your question, you're following the guidelines, you're testing the ad copy audiences. I'd be interested to know in terms of, are you new to that market or industry? Is it e-commerce? Is it B2B? Where is your brand positioned with those around you in terms of who you want to compete with? And don't get me wrong with the competition. Don't go for the big brands. If you're in finance, don't be thinking of, Ernst & Young or, KPMG. You're not competing with them if you're an accountancy firm, unless you're quite huge. Look at your local competitors. Look at, how do you sit online as a message? It could be that, where your brand is positioned in the market against your competitors isn't there. How do you expect someone to buy from you when they've never heard from you? How do you expect them to buy from you if you've got no reviews on your website? This then comes to elements like conversion rate optimization. So that is element that is not to do with digital marketing. Digital marketing's job is to drive high quality traffic that converts, or high quality sales that can be measured from specific channels back to you, or whether it's lead generation. What we find with some clients is that it works and we see the leads, but the leads could be better because of the online experience they have with the website. Remember, digital marketing can only drive people to your website or key landing pages. If those landing pages aren't taking your customers or potential customers on a journey to convert, then that's why you're probably not seeing enough return on investment. Have you looked at your website? Is that the cause? Is that problem? You can do key things like go on GA4 and create conversion funnels. And you can look at by specific channel to see, right, I'm spending all this money on digital marketing in my organic, in SEO, in Google Ads, in Meta Ads, and LinkedIn, whatever platform would be. Where is the traffic? Where is it dropping off? If 80% of your traffic's dropping off after the first landing page visit, then clearly your messaging's wrong. There's a disconnect from your ads to what's on your website. So have a thorough review of your conversion rate optimization. How many people are coming to site? What's your bounce rate? How many, keywords are converting? If so, what are the opportunities? If the click-through rate's high, but the conversion rate's low, then clearly something's going wrong from when they're getting onto the website to actually finish completing that purchase journey. And if you're e-commerce, it could be that, what helps is being on Shopify. The payment process is, internationally known now. Trustpilot, one of the biggest reviews, having Trustpilot reviews and products, people rely on that. That's why Amazon's so big as e-commerce. You can see all the reviews that people give and feedback, and people buy off that. And if you don't have enough of that or enough purchase behavior indicators on your website, you're not really going to achieve it. So that could be a reason. But again, I'm guessing here in terms of the type of business you have. So what I would do is if it is a brand element, try do a competitor positioning map. Identify who your key competitors are. Look at where you stand in terms of brand name or value, in terms of recall, how much traffic you're driving, how many keywords your elements, paid traffic. Use tools like SEMrush, use stuff, use that kind of tool and do competitive positioning. Where do you see your brand fitting against the people you're trying to compete against? That will give you a realistic view, but try and be impartial. Maybe get other people, maybe get existing customers who have converted to give their opinion through a quick survey to say, which brands would you associate for this? For example, if it's fizzy drinks, you would put down Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, and anything else. But which brand do you recall first when buying a fizzy drink? Is it Coca-Cola? Is it Pepsi? And people will give their opinion of you. And if your brand within all those company brands isn't getting picked, then that means you need to focus more on a bit of a brand campaign first as part of your long-term strategy with digital marketing that will help, drive more results longer term, not just short term. You can't just expect digital marketing to deliver performance. I talked about this in a previous podcast about brand versus performance. It's not brand versus performance, it's brand and performance. So see what your customers say, do competitive positioning map, that will help. We always say, and just to summarize, is our strategy works 80% of the time. So that's 8 out of 10 times our digital marketing strategy will deliver results. The other 20% or 2 out of 10 times, other factors take play. Not enough brand awareness, conversion rate optimization on the website is very, very poor, difficult tracking elements, or in some cases, as I mentioned, perhaps it just doesn't work. It's not the right method. We tried it, we tested it, maybe we look at it in the future. But if it's not the right channel for you, doesn't mean, your spend stops. There's other traditional media that you can try. It means become agile, adapt to what your audience is reacting to. If there's specific channels, elements, it could be organic social media, it could be TikTok, could be trending, it could be anything. So 80% of the time, it's that 80-20 law that we have, Pareto's law, 80-20, we always say 80% of the time has worked, 20% it doesn't, but that's not because of us doing due diligence or A/B testing. It's other factors outside of our control. It could be that your market, your niche industry, or it could be conversion rate optimization, or your brand's just not good enough, or your website's not converting well enough and things need to change for it to work. But that all comes from data and insights and trialing. So thank you, Mike, for the question. I really, really love that question. I think that's one of the best questions we've had because it is true. We do get that where we go in and we talk to someone, it's like, oh, we tried digital marketing before, it didn't work for us. And I'm always interested to understand why. Why didn't it work? Is it because it actually didn't work and it's not the right channel? Which is what I'm trying to answer as a question for Mike today. Or is it because of other factors? And hopefully some of the reasons why I've helped why it's not working is something you can look through and use as a starting point to go through that. As always, thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to click on the subscribe and the bell notification button. Again, don't forget to use the hashtags and social handles at Bobble Digitals, hashtag Mr. Bobble, hashtag Ask Bobble, and hashtag Bobble Pod. We welcome the questions. I've had 2 great questions in the last few episodes, one about what happens when my Google Ads account get restricted, and this one, and we really value the insight, and it shows that people are listening and we are listening to your questions if you are putting them in. So if you have a specific question or query around digital marketing, put it in. We will create a podcast about it. And if you have letters, we'll even give you a proper shout out instead of just giving your name and want to remain anonymous, give you a bit of a plug. So thank you. Look forward to catching you up on the next episode with our guest, Ben. We'll catch you shortly. Thank you very much.